part of the run that went along today. I'm not going to play Where's Waldo, guys, all right, moving forward. So just so we're clear on that. So Terry's return to play format is no different than any of the other players. And so I'm not jumping at you, Ben, but I wanted to make sure, like, the next question doesn't go down this line.
Shout out to Juangotti Talking Sports. You know what it is. Shout out Juangotti Talking Sports.
The way that we live is not for everybody, man.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries, like...
Stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard.
Hey, look, Slim. DQ tired of talking about Terry McLaurin with the media. He fed up, just like the fans. Also, you got the media trying to turn Bill Murray against B-Rob. And come to find out, Brian Robinson locker is no longer in the locker room. Let's talk about it. So I ain't gonna waste no time. I'm gonna get straight to it because we got a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, you got Dan Quinn. And we know something like this was going to happen at some point because he's continuing to have to talk about Terry McLaurin. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, Juan, it's their job, the media's job is to get a story out of DQ, which he in fact gave him one because he got testy with him yesterday at the podium. But at the same time, as the journalist, as the media, it's training camp. It ain't like it's the middle of February, March, and it ain't nothing to cover. You can easily talk about other things besides Terry McLaurin because at the end of the day, it is repetitive. He told you, if I have a Terry McLaurin update, I'm going to give it to you. You are not going to have to ask. And quite frankly, DQ's to that point where it's like, bro, I'm tired of talking about it. We're not going to play Where's Waldo. He's back out there at practice. He's off the physical able to perform list. And although we know that ankle injury is BS, like we know that ain't real, he's tired of talking about it. And can you blame him? When he's not the one that's in control of the situation, how would you feel if that was you? Right? Like say this was you. You have a coworker or somebody like that has a situation going on with another employee or something like that, and it has nothing to do with you, but because you're tied to the same organization, they constantly ask you about it. That's what DQ is like. Yeah, I get I'm the head coach, but I'm the head football coach of this team. I'm in charge of getting this team prepared to play on the field each and every week. I cannot control the back and forth between Terry McLaurin, his representation, and Adam Peters. And that's simply what DQ is talking about. He's always said that. He said sometimes football and business, they intermingle. And I know Adam Peters is working hard, and I know Terry McLaurin is working hard to come get a deal done. And it was about time he got a little testy with the media. Because I get it, right? Like I said, it's journalism. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But our media know what they be doing, though. They know what they be doing. They be asking the same 3 questions every single time they get up there. Ask something about what's going on about Monday night. Ask about one of these young fellas that's stepping up. Ask what the heck is going on with QB3. Because that's a real issue in my opinion. We don't have a quarterback 3. And God forbid anything happens to the first 2, we'll be screwed. Ask about certain things along the lines of how do you think the starting offensive line performed? How do you think that offensive line performed? How about John Bates? Hell of a blocking. Like, you can ask stuff because it's football time now. You know what I mean? So I'm all behind DQ. I know a lot of people was like, oh, he got to remain professional. He's the head coach. What does he expect? Man, nah, bro. I'm the head football coach. Ask Adam Peters about that if you want to ask Adam Peters about that. Don't keep asking me about something I don't control. I can't get my hands into. I can't just go out there and pay Terry McLaurin $28 million. If I could, he'd be out here. And that's essentially how he's responded. Cliff Kingsbury, in a way, has responded that way. The only person that holds the keys to this whole situation is Adam freaking Peters and Terry McLaurin and his representation. So, at the end of the day, you can ask as many questions if you're the media to Dan Quinn about it. He's not going to give you anything because he can't control nothing. He's going to continue to say the same thing So about time DQ stepped up and said, hey man, cut it out with this Terry McLaurin trash, bro. Like, and not to, I think it was Ben Standing, he's like, not to like get aiming at you, Ben, but this is kind of for everybody. Like, we not going to continue to talk about something. I gave you an update. I've always said if I have an update, I'm going to give it to you. You don't got to keep asking about Terry. And at the end of the day, as Ben made the point yesterday in my video, they're fed up with this situation, man. Just like the fans. We're tired of talking about it. How can you imagine the day-to-day operations at the park fields? Dan Quinn, all the players that have to continue to talk about this. They're fed up with this. All they want to do is go play ball. And I feel bad for Dan Quinn. I do. Because he has nothing to do with this situation. All he wants to do is go coach a team to win a Super Bowl. But yet, he has to continue to talk about Terry McLaurin, continue to talk about off-the-field stuff when we're in the middle of training camp, 2 preseason games in, 2 weeks away from the opening kickoff, and we should be preparing for that. Instead, we're continuing to talk about Terry McLaurin. The next topic I want to get to is Brian Robinson. He doesn't have a locker anymore. And that is crazy to me. Like, I'm like, dang, per JP Finley, his locker's not even in it. And when I'm like, wow, they really getting rid of this dude like that, though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how just 2 weeks ago, he was penciled in as the running back 1. And then 2 weeks later, he doesn't even have a locker. He's not even showing up to the facility. They're mutually agreeing for him to stay home. And it's like, dang. How does that really make you feel as a player? You know what I'm saying? To not be wanted by an organization no more. And I get it's a business. I truly do. But like, I know they don't want to create this friction in the running back room or in the locker room. That's probably why they're telling them to stay home. But I just know B-Rob has to feel some type of way. Like, really, B-Rob, if he was to not come back to Washington, I do wish him the best. And it's nothing that the organization is doing wrong, because I get it. But it's like, damn, bro. You telling me I don't got a locker no more? Y'all couldn't even have waited till I got traded first or got released? Y'all not gonna wait. Y'all just gonna do it right here while I'm still here? Dang. And I was talking about this last night on the Burgundy Breakdown. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the Burgundy Breakdown if you're not already. You're missing out on some great content. Link is down below in the description. I was like, can you imagine? Because they're in a situation where they want Brian Robinson gone so bad that they're willing to eat half of his salary just so a trade partner could be willing to accept the trade. And granted, that's smart, don't get me wrong, because you do want to get some type of compensation for Brian Robinson, which goes to show you that they genuinely think he still has some talent left. He's not just no scrub or no bum, because if that was the case, they would have cut him, or they would have, they would wait to the last resort to do that. But they're trying to find a way to get some type of compensation out of him, because they know if they just release him to the public or cut him, whatnot, and not get anything back from him, a very minimum back from him, it could definitely suck. Because I definitely think B-Rob can net you at least a 6. At least a 6th round pick. I even heard somebody say a 5th round pick. And if you get a 5th round pick for B-Rob, that's insane. I take that as a W. I mean, think about it. This is the same front office that got a 3rd round pick for Jahan Dotson. You know what I mean? And clearly, B-Rob is going to be a much more important piece to whatever team he decides to go to or will go to next. He ain't going to be Jahan Dotson where he gets fleeced, or the team, the Eagles get fleeced, and we take that 3rd round pick and kind of flip it. Nah, B-Rob is going to go somewhere where he actually going to contribute and be decent. Right? This is a 700, 800 yard back. This ain't just no scrub. So I damn sure agree with wanting to get something out of him. It will suck if you have to cut him, but that's the thing. What if Washington does this whole thing, they can't find a trade partner, and they don't cut him because they realize he does have some value? Now, I'm more than certain they will release him, but imagine how weird that would be. Imagine how weird that would be if B-Rob doesn't get traded. The front office says, you know what? We're going to keep on to you for this rest of the year, for this one final year on your contract. Imagine the friction that could cause, right? He probably feels some type of way. And I get people are so easy to say, it's a business. It happens day to day. Suck it up. It's a part of football. It's a part of the life. But how would you feel? How would you feel if you were showing up to work every single day knowing that this company didn't really want you? They planning your replacement. They're planning your exit, and then all of a sudden you got to go back and see them every day. It's gonna kind of be like F you, man. You know what I mean? So B-Rob has a large market, to be honest with you. I went over it yesterday of all the teams that are interested in him, and a couple teams came out today from that video that they're interested. Miami Dolphins, the front runner to get Brian Robinson, and I think that would be a perfect spot for B-Rob, as Mike McDaniel plans to change his whole offensive scheme to power first, or run first, and kind of be a power run team. And you already got Ollie Gold, and you got Devon A-Chain, who's already banged up. Maybe Brian Robinson can come in and help with that backfield. You got Houston, right? Houston has Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon, who's banged up. Nick Chubb, who's out there. Still got Damian Pierce, but B-Rob definitely could come in and help out for sure. You got to think about Joe Mixon's already banged up as well, right? Nick Chubb, do you really want to get Nick Chubb to be your #1 back after he's coming off of yet another catastrophic injury? I get it's Nick Chubb, and he was once one of the best running backs in ball, but he had another injury that was just catastrophic, like his 3rd or 4th one of his career, and going back to college. So you don't want to put your trust only in Nick Chubb because you don't want to wear him down. So B-Rob could definitely be a nice landing spot for Houston, and obviously Dallas as well. But again, I don't think they will trade B-Rob inside the division because I think they think he has some type of talent and that dog in him. Unlike Jahan Dotson, they just clearly knew he ain't got it. He ain't got the dog in him. He don't got the want-to in it. The want-to in him. That skill set ain't really dangerous. B-Rob, on the other hand, he could definitely carve you up. And it ain't 20-yard gain. It's a steady diet of 5, 6, 7. He can beat you down. So I don't think they trade on to Dallas. But if they did, that just goes to show you how low they think of B-Rob. And I think that would be a mistake, though, because I don't think B-Rob is just trash all of a sudden. I do think he's good. But, man, isn't that crazy how that works, ladies and gentlemen? One day you can go from having a job, and the next day you can go from not even having a locker room before you even get cut or traded. It's like Jamal Adams all over again, right? His key card doesn't even work. That's insane, man. It truly is. And then speaking of the media in the running back room, they want to divide Bill Murray and B-Rob so bad. They are trying to get Bill Murray to say something that he's not supposed to say.
B-Rob, he's definitely my dog, my guy, on and off the field. I mean, he's taught me a lot. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Shout out to Bill for being so media trained and so smart and so professional, because Scott Abram and the rest of the media, they're trying so hard to get stories and get Bill to say something that he shouldn't be saying, and he's just not going for it. Every time they try to ask him about B-Rob, he's like, nah, yeah, I don't really want to speak on that. I ain't trying to talk about that. Another time he was talking about B-Rob, he's like, yeah, I appreciate B-Rob. That's like my brother. You know what I'm saying? He's saying all the right things. And I go again to the media where it's like, I get you have stories, but there's better ways you can approach it, right? Instead of saying, well, B-Rob's not here how he normally would be, how does that make you feel? Like, what is that feeling like? You could say, hey, Bill, with this new opportunity that seems to be presenting yourself, how do you plan on taking full advantage of it? Simple. That way you're not throwing B-Rob under the bus. You're still getting a nice story out, right? And the media is just funny, man. It truly is. And I'm excited for Bill. I truly am. And I cannot wait to see what he does in this regular season. I wonder if he gets a lot of opportunity this Saturday against the Ravens, which I think he would, because we have no backs. You're going to trade B-Rob. All-Stackler's not playing. It's C-Rod, Felton, and Bill and Kaz Allen. So I think he gets a heavy dose, at least the first half, and then C-Rod may get the second half. So we'll get to see a lot of Bill on Saturday. But shout out to Bill, man, for remaining professional. And last but not least, the Washington Commanders did make 2 signings that bolsters this offensive line. And one signing is interesting because I know a lot of people feel like when you make signings around this time, it's simply just camp bodies, but it is August 21st. We're 2 weeks away from the season. Camp's almost over. Today's actually the last practice for the media in terms of training camp, per John Kine. So maybe these signings aren't just camp bodies, as they signed tackle George Fant. George Fant is a savvy veteran. He is a guy that's been around for quite a bit. And a little bit background knowledge on George Fant is he got to the NFL originally playing college basketball at Western Kentucky and didn't start football until his 5th year of eligibility, where he switched to tight end, playing in just 2 games. He was undrafted in 2016 but caught the eye of Seattle Seahawks with his athleticism, WKU's Pro Day, and earned a contract despite minimum football experience. Isn't that crazy how that works? This man is like Antonio Gates. Playing college basketball, only played football one time in his whole college career, and this man's in the NFL and messed around and turned a career for himself. That's kind of crazy, bro. So maybe it ain't too late for your man JG. Nah, it's definitely too late for me. I'm 5'6", 150, bro. I ain't doing nothing out there. But then continuing on, though, it says NFL career path. He started with the Seattle Seahawks in 2016 to 2019, made the 50-man roster and started in 24 games, quickly established himself as a linchpin despite a steep learning curve. So he found himself to be kind of a rotational piece on that offensive line, starting in 24 games throughout his tenure there in Seattle. And that's very, very cool for a guy that, you know, had not played much. And that means he had to learn quick and learn fast. And quite frankly, that might mean, even though he's been in the league since 2016, it's 2025, it's almost 10 years since he's been in the league, but he probably still has a lot to learn. In 2020 to 2022, he signed a 3-year, $30 million deal, starting at both right tackle and left tackle across the 2020 and 2021 season. With the New York Jets. He spent time on the injury reserve in 2022 but returned mid-season. And then following the 2022 season, he ended up going to Houston in 2023, signing a 1-year deal and starting at 13 games on right tackle. So this guy isn't just no Joe Schmo. He's not no regular guy. He has quality starting experience across the league with multiple teams, and he cashed in for a $30 million contract. So again, alluding to the point, he may not just be no camp body. He may be somebody that truly they could use on this depth. And think about it, right? Nate Herbig, even though he played guard, he went down. Foster Sorrell may not necessarily make this roster. He's not guaranteed to make this roster. Outside of the starting guys, the first person you think of is Trent Scott, right? Julian Good-Jones, he's no longer here, and I'm just talking about offensive line in general, not just specific tackle positions. But maybe he's another depth piece that you need on this roster. In 2024, he returned back to Seattle and played in just 2 games before his release in 2025, and then now he's here in Washington. He's 33 years old, 6'5", 315. He brings valuable depth to the veteran savvy offensive tackle group. He also has a great experience that can teach Josh Connolly Jr., and he has cross paths, I'm sure, with Laramie Tunsil with spending his time in Houston. So it's definitely interesting to see the lease, and we'll see if, in fact, how he impacts this offensive line, if he does at all. Okay. 3. And then last but not least, the Washington Commanders just made a signing a few minutes before starting the record button. They signed Nick Hurst, center. His college career, Hurst played 4 years at University of Washington after receiving his only FBS offer from them. He spent the first 2 seasons at guard but transitioned into the center. He earned an honorable mention of All Pac-12 as a sophomore and first-team All Pac-12 honors, both as a junior and senior. In his professional career, the Cleveland Browns selected him in the draft in 2020 in the 5th round. He played in 45 games with 6 starts. His rookie contract included stints on injury reserve due to knee and hamstring injuries. In 2024, he signed with the Seattle Seahawks, but was traded to the Browns back to Cleveland in August as part of the draft swap trade, and then Washington picked him up. So this guy is more of a camp body, if you would say so myself, than George Fenton. He doesn't really have that portfolio or resume even that proves that, hey, yeah, he's a guy that's gonna stick around. George Fenton, on the other hand, again, he has that kind of resume that makes me think, oh, hold on, we might have found a sneaky gem late in August. You know what I mean? So I'll keep you guys updated on it, but keep your eye out for George Fenton, man, as he'll probably make this roster and he'll probably get some valuable time in the final preseason game. With that being said, let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section. As always, it's me, boy Juan Gotti. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe, be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.